to talk to you guys about why I no longer primarily play the bass with a pick. When I started out playing bass, I definitely was using the pick. So I did not play bass with my fingers pretty much at all. There were a few things that I would do with my fingers, but they were on the acoustic guitar. But when I played the bass, I stuck with the pick because I'd been doing so much pick playing with the guitar, and I was doing a lot of metal stuff and a lot of hardcore stuff. So I kind of felt that it was important to keep up that technique. But little did I know that I was about to run into a lot of different musical genres that were going to call for me to drop the pick and use my fingers. On top of that, I ended up just eventually saying, you know what, I don't really need the pick anymore. But for this video, I'm going to play some of my favorite bass intros that started off with a pick. And I will start out with Wood from Alice in Chains. I am by no means condemning playing bass with a pick. I think it is totally necessary. I think it gives you a tone that you can't always achieve with your fingers unless you grow out your fingernails, which I just did recently, and then I clip them. And I always love it when I have my nails long and I'm playing bass with my fingers, because it gives me a sound that, like I said, I just can't achieve without using a pick. So I think it's totally necessary. My only advice to any of you who are out there doing it, and I speak from experience, if you do not stick with this and keep it up, it's kind of hard to just jump back on it. It's not like riding a bicycle necessarily, sort of in a way, but there's a lot of things, like especially the speed stuff, like when you're having to really do things like, you know, when you have to do stuff like that, it gets a little tough to keep it up, you know? So my advice to you, if you're going to play with a pick, it's okay to go back and forth and play with the pick and play with your fingers. I think it's good to have that versatility, but definitely don't give it up. If you don't really know for sure if the fingers are going to be your thing long term, then it's probably not good to give it up, because once you get really used to using your fingers, at least for me, I found that I didn't want to go back. So I can achieve a lot of what I want by using my hands. So if I want to get that sound, for example, what I just did, if I want to do that, I kind of hold my hand in a different position and I can, well, it's a little different. Without my fingernails, it's a little different, but I can. I mean, I could still sort of do it, but with a pick, it has a little bit more clarity to it. Another thing too is, depending on the tone or the strings that you're using for your bass, if you're playing a fretless bass and you use a pick, it has a totally different sound. And sometimes that tone that you get from the pick with a fretless bass is a very welcome tone, but depending on the bass that you are playing. So for example, if I'm playing my Padula, I do not want to play this fretless bass, that particular fretless bass, with a pick. But Stingray, no problem. Stingray can be played with a pick. Even a fretless precision bass is great with, pick is fine with that. With the good old precision bass, even a jazz bass, but definitely with a precision bass, the pick can sometimes be your best friend when you're trying to get a certain tone. It just gives you this meaty tone that you don't normally get from anything else. So another one of my favorite opening bass intros that's definitely done with a pick is Blowin' Cool by Swerve Driver. The next song I want to show you guys is Bite the Hand That Feeds by a band called Agent Orange. I just listened to it again. I haven't listened to it in so long, and it really didn't age well, but it's part of my youth, so I'm not gonna bash it. But one thing I noticed about it, there's two things I noticed. And I knew this a long time ago, actually. The rhythm is like a roller coaster throughout this track. They did not use a metronome. I'm not bashing them for that, but you can clearly hear it. The song, maybe they did it on purpose, but you hear it when it starts off. So I'm gonna play the opening bass riff. And the other thing is, it's kind of a weird twisted version of the Halloween theme song. The it's gonna be a little sloppy, but I'm gonna do Hold Out Your Hand by Chris Squire.